Hey guys, it's M.K.S again, part 2 of this video, of course. With my plans for the month coming, the month ahead. Anyway, hope you checked out part 1 of this list and enjoyed it, and hope many people from Indigenous American communities, Native American communities, will watch it and enjoy it too. Anyway, here goes. Lost my train of thought then, sorry. Yeah, this is probably, maybe I'll include this in the intro before I start my list, but this is probably a really out there idea, even from myself, even by my own standards. But I was thinking, imagine if Indigenous people had 10% of the property or land ownership in their nation where they're from, or Indigenous people between them had 10% of all the wealth or land ownership and property in the Americas. 10% used to be my favorite figure, kind of, and it probably still is in a way. But anyway, yeah, so as ever, I'd love to know what you think about all these points and any other thing you think about. So here goes. Anyway, sorry. Number 11, I'd love to support more Indigenous people to become inventors and then raise their profile and help them and support them, and look how banks and businesses and investors can invest in Indigenous American communities, and people of colour can support them more, and also getting more Indigenous people into politics and general ways to empower them, and that sort of thing. Number 12, as I said with my ideas before, sorry to be repetitive, but again, I love people to mentor and teach and train Indigenous / Native, whichever terming for people from the Americas, all over the Americas, and help them to network together as well. And if they become successful, support each other and have like a network for Indigenous people, like friends of Indigenous people as well, who support them, and also like Indigenous / Native people from whichever term you prefer to use again, or First Nations or whatever, from the Americas, to work with Aborigines, Maoris, and any other group of Indigenous people from Australasia. I think it's just Aborigines and Maoris from Australasia who could work together, like share ideas, excuse me, and lobby together for rights. And whatever one group has, maybe the other group could also have equal. Like, so, for instance, there are Aborigine centres in Australasia, and perhaps there could be similar things in the Americas for Indigenous Americans, I say, for people to learn about their culture and history and way of life and things like that, and for them to share information about themselves and what sort of help they need and how to help them, and their own wish list or shopping list for life and things like that. So basically, to have a native network around the world, perhaps, and also like what I call the four generally could work together. So people of colour, Asians, Africans, and mixed race people, and other such groups supporting Indigenous or Native Americans, and like the friends of Indigenous Americans. Excuse me, sorry. Number 13, hope to look at what problems they face and that sort of thing. For instance, some people say even though they get a lot of funding from the government in some areas, it doesn't always translate to long-term success, and sometimes they become reliant on that support, and it doesn't empower them in the long term. So I think that's obviously a major problem. Number 14, excuse me, I hope to look at how to help Native Americans to solve those problems, like if there's any poverty in their communities, or crime, or problems with like division with the police or whatever, to like sort of look at how to solve those problems, and also help Native Americans solve their own problems and learn about problem solving for the rest of the world as well. And again, just as I talked about with Asia and other groups, how they can sell things and trade and again problem solve for themselves and others, and market those solutions to problems for their own benefit as well as helping others. Number 15, again, hope to hear from Indigenous / Native American aspirations, and how to encourage them to have higher aspirations and aim high, and look at how they can achieve those goals and achieve more than people thought were possible. I've heard this term, people should aim for the skies, and if they miss, they might get the stars, but if they, well, most people teach you to aim low, but many people say if you aim low, then you probably will achieve less, which I suppose most people want to achieve more. So anyway, as ever, I'd love to know what you think about these ambitions. I particularly hope to hear from Indigenous / Native Americans and what their aspirations are, what their political opinions are, and what they would like to see in life, and what sort of support they would love or like, at least for me to give them, and that sort of thing. And number 16, I hope again share ideas about what are the best ways to support Indigenous people from people of all different backgrounds with ideas. But again, for Indigenous people, talk about what sort of the things they need in their community and what problems they have. But again, maybe people have ideas outside the box that other people haven't thought about. So I'm not always the biggest fan of common sense. I think logic or reasoning can go further, perhaps. But some people who watch many of my videos probably will agree with that statement, saying I don't have a huge amount of common sense, perhaps. But anyway, maybe there are innovative ideas, and maybe Native Americans will say they want one thing, but then when people give them support, it might be something that's more beneficial than they thought it would be. So perhaps sometimes, for instance, training might be better than money or things like that. But anyway, yeah, I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, so listening to different ideas and viewpoints and looking at what the best ways are to support Indigenous people. Hope that makes sense. Number 17, I'd love to hear from Indigenous stories. And again, look at how businesses can teach each other. And for Indigenous people to talk about their dreams, goals, aims, aspirations, what they want to achieve, and that sort of thing. And again, imagine if they had 10% of all the wealth, property and land ownership, or what would they do with it? And that sort of thing. 18, hope to support Indigenous YouTubers, and again, the tourism industry. Again, they can have their own tourist centres where people can visit, and that sort of thing. 19, hope that Indigenous people would also support people from Africa and places like that, and Asia, and support African technology, and that sort of thing. And number 20, I hope the older people will teach younger people what they know and pass on their knowledge, which I'm sure they will, or they probably already do. But again, I love to support Indigenous YouTubers, Indigenous people to be involved in tourism, Indigenous people to have their own tourism centres, and all possible ways to empower Indigenous people. Anyway, I'm out. So as ever, please let me know what you think.